Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Steam with my co-host Mindy Hahn. I'm Ramon Scott. We're ready to tackle a big Tuesday card in Major League Baseball. Also talk about college football. We're going to start rolling in the early games already for Thursday and Saturday. So get your pens, pencils, and rotation orders ready. We're going to start making some picks for the weekend. Mindy's going to make me get started on. I love it. I want to commit now, so I don't get wishy-washy on some of these picks. I like the football card this weekend after a solid week one that I had, and I also want to take a look at the WNBA finals game 2 tonight, and also there's Champions League soccer today. We'll talk about a few of the games. I'll at least run down the schedule and some of the odds as well, but. Mindy, good morning. I'm trying to wrap my head around what happened last night. I think I'm still groggy with the pure comedy gold that was the Seahawks and the Broncos. I don't think you can. You're the. I'm not. You're not a conspiracy theorist, but just the way the game unfolded with the storylines involved. Maybe you could just take over because I don't know. I want to hear what somebody else had. I'm just here watching it and just beside myself.
Well, I always think it's interesting when you have the stats like this hasn't happened since like 1983 or whatever, that you fumble twice within the 1 yard line, in the red zone going into score. So it's just one of those things like, it was kind of a sloppy game. Seahawks still surprised me a little bit. They played, better on defense than I expected. Maybe a little bit better on offense. Gino he looked pretty sharp, and the offensive line, they were able to contain that third-ranked defense from last year. Again, it was Gino not being able to make a 4th and 2 inches, and then again, these turnovers in the red zone really dictated how this game went. And at the end of the game, I had no idea what was going on. I wasn't sure why, Seattle didn't use their timeout before the 2-minute warning, just to save themselves a little bit of time. I didn't know why the Seahawks ran down about 20 seconds. Also don't know why you don't put that ball in Russell Wilson's hand. I mean, that's me personally. I know that they kept on saying, well, the odds are it's a 50-50 shot whether you kick that or give it to Russell Wilson, but you don't pay this guy the big bucks just to, have him sitting on the sidelines. That's how I feel about it anyway. I mean, I really like the Broncos. I thought the Broncos were going to come out and, pretty much annihilate them, honestly. I hadn't had much faith in Gino. He's, I think, proved me wrong a little bit there. His first start in 8 years. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good game. I was entertained. I didn't have any skin in the game, so I wound up rooting for Seattle at the end. I was like, ooh, should I be rooting for a Russell Wilson, Cinderella story coming back and being his team? Or should I be rooting for Seattle at home and Pete Carroll and the underdogs? Wound up rooting for the underdogs and everything, just to come to find out that Ramon was all over this one with a premium pick on the Seahawks.
When we came in on the under yesterday, also on the video, I don't know if, maybe there was luck involved there, but maybe they were lucky to score those points in the first half, given what we saw. Now, granted, they did. You're right. I mean, everybody's talking about the goal line fumbles. Maybe there's another 21 points and left on the table right there. So it would have went way over. But
turnovers, it's part of the game.
Turnover. Oh no, those were legitimate defensive plays.
I'm just saying how they turned him on third down was pretty impressive. Just in order for him to fumble the next go, but I was like, that's an impressive goal line stand there. I mean, obviously the Seattle defense is going to be really good in the red zone. They didn't look good in coverage. I didn't even know what kind of defense they were even playing out there. Was a little bit of zone? Was it a little bit of I really couldn't figure out what they were trying to scheme out there, especially leaving guys wide open. But again, I think it's also one of those things, Ramon, I need to keep a mental note for all the folks that don't play preseason. They don't come out sharp.
Well, right. I mean, if there was any game, you would think that there might be 3 critical turnovers. It'd be the first game of the season. So maybe that's where the focus wasn't for those on those particular carries for the offense. I mean, granted, like I said, legitimate defensive plays, ripping at the ball, punching at the ball,
Right.
tearing at the ball, hard hit, jump ball rolls into the end zone. So, all that and everything you said, I think that's the main storylines really about how it unfolded. But for me, Mindy, it started at the beginning of the game. I don't think I was totally wrong here on the show. I told you, this guy would be a beloved figure, and I just have to state it.
Yeah.
That's how you want. Look, I don't want to say I based my selection yesterday on those 12s, but again, look at the penalties and look at the false starts. The 12s did their job. They're a legitimate factor in every game. But you mentioned the field goal. I want to talk about that as well. McManus, yes, maybe he is the best kicker in the game, but if there's one atmosphere in this whole country that's the opposite of Denver, Colorado, it's got to be Seattle, right? It's got to be the heaviest ball in the world kicking up in the Pacific Northwest. So I was just disappointed in the fans for booing Russ Wilson, if that's the way it's going to be from here. Because Richard Sherman was introduced before the game as a Seahawk legend, and they gave him a 5-minute standing ovation. So there's obviously a problem here. And you saw on his chest the NFL Man of the Year award. Only 3 players currently can wear that on their that crest on their uniform as active players in the league. Russell Wilson has started charter schools for underprivileged. He donates helps donate millions of boxes of foods to one of the organizations there. Countless other efforts in the community where he's really just donating his time and money. I don't care if he's eccentric or a nerd. I'm kind of weird, but for that to go down like that. When Tom Brady went back to New England, what happened? Standing ovation for as long as he was out on that pregame walk. So I don't get it.
Especially when you had like Pete Carroll coming out and saying, I don't feel like we're going to be booing Russell Wilson, and the opposite occurred.
Yeah, and I know. Look, to me,
I don't think the Seattle team that loyalty. I don't think they wanted it to go that way.
No. It could be a case where, hey, look, I mean, you give them that first cheer, and then you're the 12s. You boo them all game. Mm-hmm. But for it to come right out of the gate like that really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not going to criticize these fans because they were so important to my win yesterday and to football. I mean, they're a great fan base. They do a great job, but have to question their judgment in a guy who's given so much to that community. I would think Russell Wilson probably, the game notwithstanding, it probably left a pretty rotten taste in his mouth moving forward. But
it was that crowd on, that fumble in the end zone. It was him trying to get that ball off, in the crowd noise. So, I mean, that definitely was, a factor there in that game. There was also maybe 3 delay of game penalties. So
yeah, and false starts as well. So I don't know what the final count was. I know it was I saw at one point in the fourth quarter, I thought they had 10 or a dozen penalties when they showed that stat. Didn't look at the final stats, but the penalties were running 2-1, I think, against the Broncos. So again, I almost found you talked about who you were teetering on who to root for, and even though I had Seattle as a premium, found myself rooting for Russ Wilson to get a win. Maybe not,
maybe pulling this off just because they booed him so bad, but
maybe I'm a bitter guy. I don't know. So
yeah.
Anyway, just a crazy game. But Tony also had Seattle on his card last night, so I think it was.
There was
another home dog I was interested in.
Yeah.
Another home dog. So moving forward, I'm looking good in NFL. We'll talk about this week college football and baseball. Get started with our rundown and things like that. And let's just move on now before I really get angry.
Well, I thought it was interesting just because we've been kind of covering some college football that if you looked at, LSU specifically, uh, they're kind of known to be in, a rowdy group of folks, but they've actually, only caused like, say, 3 delay of game penalties, over last year's slate. So it's interesting how crowds do impact, uh, you know, these games because I thought that was real interesting. That I'm like, yeah, LSU looks like a rowdy place, but it must not be very loud there. And then to have just the total opposite here in Seattle, where they cause tons of. I mean, I haven't been to Seattle, been to the Chiefs games. I mean, it's loud there, but I've still heard that folks that have been to both still say Seattle's the loudest place out there.
Yeah, I think I deep down feel that way as well. That that's a serious impact on the game, and they're going to need. I want to mention one more thing. You mentioned Geno Smith and his effectiveness, the great job he did. Hats off to Geno Smith, but still, the way I look at it, Mindy, and Geno has been serviceable when he comes in the games and the role that he's been in and for those last 8 years, but it still took Geno Smith's arguably his best game that he's ever played,
Still
and they
only
still
190
only
yards.
get a 1 point victory, basically. So
I mean, look at
that's
the
really
stats. Russell Wilson outplayed him, for what, 430 yards of offense or passing,
right.
and
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
and the announcers are going to say it too. And I did watch a little bit. I watched the Manning cast, Mindy. I don't know
I
how
didn't
you
see it, yeah. I
huh?
like it. I like it, but it's
You
like
go
some
with
of those
Manning
things.
cast.
I love the Manning cast, but I didn't watch it yesterday because I sometimes feel like they talk over on a game that I really am interested in. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
with the interviews and stuff. Yeah. No, and
yeah,
I kind of go back and forth too if I feel like because with also I think no, we're a gambling show, but we're supposed. Tony said I could talk about whatever I want, but of course he would probably discuss it too. But the debut of Buck and Aikman over there at the Monday Night Football broadcast, and I think Twitter was kind of funny saying, what kind of can you imagine? Because it caught a lot of people by surprise. They don't follow it like I do, know where all the teams are this year as the broadcast teams, but it caught a lot of people by surprise. And a popular thing on Twitter was like, how much BS or how many strings had to be pulled to get, those because it's been a joke, kind of laughable. The ESPN booth, I think people made fun of the different rotations that they've had in there. Don't want to slight those guys, all doing a professional job, but maybe not the same flair or color from some of the big game broadcasts. And then one guy made a great tweet talking about them moving from the big, main Fox game every week to Monday Night Football. They go from Buck and Aikman. And we have the 10-1 Packers and the 11-0 Buccaneers, and now you put them on Monday Night Football, and they're like, it's the game of the week, the 2-9 Washington football team against the 3-10 Giants.
I enjoyed that. I know people give Joe Buck a hard time. I've always liked the guy. I think he's good. I just, I do. I've always liked him. So I think they did a good job. I was happy with it. I thought ESPN over the last couple of years has kind of been lacking a little bit Monday Night Football ever since John Madden has left. So,
Yeah, you wonder if that's how the Manning cat. Now I know Peyton Manning, wants to do different things, something a little different. That's his style, and the Manning cast game. That was kind of a way for ESPN to, maybe wrestle in some more viewers. Don't tune away with our boring crew that we've had. That's why I watch the Manning cast too, because also those guys are great football minds, in my opinion.
100%.
Still, especially when they. More so, not. I don't necessarily want to see their little breakdowns. I like just the spontaneity of when the game is going, and they, can call out some kind of weird, some kind of defense and things like that. And of course, Aikman did a nice job too. Talking about the distribution of the ball early, and then them scoring right after he mentioned that. So thank you, Matt, also for your comments. Please comment in the chat, like and subscribe to this video, and head on over to our website. Let's take a look at our website before we get into the show, Mindy, at Tony'sPicks.com, where you can get our premium picks every day over at Tony'sPicks.com. use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off all premium pick packages. I'll bring it up here. The dogs are going to be barking.
I guess they've been doing fine, like, for the last week or so. And then suddenly must be someone out walking their dog. I don't know.
Here's Tony. He comes in on Seattle yesterday. He's got his baseball already loaded up, it looks like, for today as well. I just started with Tony because he also had Seahawks with me last night. He's got a $15 premium best bet for Tuesday and his standard powerhouse 3-pack of games professional choice profit maker from Tony T, still on a roll in Major League Baseball. How much on a roll? He's the number one units guy, and we're mentioning him so we can keep this show, Mindy.
Yeah, I was trying to, get my dogs out of the room.
Oh, okay, no problem. I wasn't even looking. I'm looking at the site. Mindy having a decent week in baseball. Sam's way hot in baseball. And Nick yesterday with a pretty good day in baseball at 2-0. Yesterday overall on the site, Daniel had a 2-0 day. The Lagaretos brothers combined for a 6-2. There's my one pick. Sometimes you see Mindy and I 20 picks in a day, but yesterday I didn't want to water down that Seattle pick with some of the baseball shenanigans. I liked the Seahawks in that game. So, all right, there's our little promo. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off all premium pick packages. Did I even bring it up on screen? I might not have. I'm sorry about that. At least I talked a good game. There it is from yesterday. Daniel, the Lagaretos brothers, and me. And you can click on the All Cappers tab and find all dozen of our handicappers over there over at Tony's Picks. Click on the handicapper profile, and you can check out their results and get signed up. All right, Mindy, we got a big card, including 2 doubleheaders. We got to get all these games in. We're running out of time here in the baseball season. So AJ's ready to go. We'll get to all these games, but let's put them on the record right now as a start to our segment as we get ready for a big card, like I said, in baseball. All right, Mindy, let's fire it up on the rapid fire picks rundown coming up. And we'll start with, now, the line has finally come out, so I don't know if this just happened and maybe you didn't see it yet, because I looked at about an hour ago and I didn't see much, but it will be right now listed at several sports books. Oviedo and Cessa, just as Tony called it in his video last night. Looks like that will be the first matchup. Looks like a bullpen game for both teams actually in game 1. So I'm sure the same will be said for game 2 of this monumental series that we talked about between the Pirates and the Reds. I handicapped the whole card. I didn't really pay too much attention to this doubleheader. I might even check my notes if you have anything right now on what's going to happen today with these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, Oviedo, he got beat up in his last game pretty good. I think he lasted 1.2 innings, gave up 4 runs. Cessa, I guess he was solid, 5.2 innings, 2 runs there. I think the Reds have been, also solid, minus, maybe last night's game. But, they've been scoring about 5 runs or so per game in the last 10 games. But the Reds ERA has kind of been up a little bit too. I think I'm just going to look at something like an over. They hit right at 9 last night. I think they're probably going to do something similar. Especially with, I don't know. It's one of these games that I'd probably stay away from. But if I'm going to go ahead and put a free bet in there, that's probably something I'd take a look at.
All right, and I'll take Pittsburgh. I think that price is a little high for this series, and basically a coin flip with probably a lot of volatility in this game, this doubleheader. Again, if you're like me, you probably find a way to get some action on this game because it's a professional sporting event on a weekday. That's
that's your key when you get in.
but again, we're not going to go crazy, I think, in a situation like this with this series. So Mindy, you're going to grab the over, and I'm going to give out Pittsburgh, and that might be my action. With all due respect to the viewers here with this doubleheader. Might just be some free picks because
Right.
I'll be scared, but you know what? When you got some good games on board, you can take a look at maybe getting some action. And boy, this one's been looks like a good doubleheader today with a lot of impact between these two teams. We know that they're probably in jostling for position with the M's right now, but you got Springs and Manoa. Manoa, a buck 55. I'm seeing a buck 60 now. Eight under 25 listed, but now I'm starting to see some 7.5 overs. It looks like this one's trending under.
Yeah, it kind of looks similar to yesterday. Toronto was favored by the minus, 150 or so. I liked Tampa Bay. Gave that out as my free pick just because I liked their bullpen better. And of course, what do? They give up a home run to lose the game. So, it's one of those that, I still like the Rays. They do have that, that third best offense, fourth best pitching. It's one of those things. Rays still have won, 4 of 6. I'm still going to back the Rays here in this one today.
All right. And I'm going to go with the over in this one with even with Springs and Manoa. Look, Manoa, it's hard for me to quantify the over in this game, but that's the way I'm going to look. I agree with you. I think the bats are looking pretty decent for the clubs right now, and that's just the way I feel. I think that look, this is a doubleheader. Man, I really like. I like what you're saying about Tampa Bay at that price. It almost makes me want to jump on board with that play actually. But no, I'll still go over in this one. There's been a lot of unders with these two series. I just think this game is going to be uh, uh, I'm not a slugfest. I mean, I think it's going to get right to that number, but I just think that we're pulling back too much on Tampa Bay and Toronto. I know I'm going against our guy in the video. You want to check out Tony's videos, please do. But I'll be going over in this game. I don't have a lot of handicap on that, other than I like the bats the way they're way they're going right now. So let me see here. I think I have a change on the next game. I was going to bring up the Angels and the Guardians. And obviously a big story here, Mindy, with Mike Trout going for that record 8th straight game that kind of snuck up on us. He's definitely on a roll. We got Suarez and Morris currently favored here, $1.30 and rising, could go up to $1.35, but I think the total is pretty set at 8. Uh-oh. No problem. I've lost your sound.
I clicked on my mute somehow when I was looking at my notes there, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, but I like the Angels here in this one. I have them on the run line at the plus 1.5. That was sitting at minus 155. Guardians just really haven't been, scoring, here too much as of late. I have this game slightly. I probably shouldn't say because you're probably going to make a prediction on it, but I had it at a slightly under game here as well.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to go over. Well, just because right now the Angels just one under result in their last 8 games right now, and just 2 under results in their last 10 games. Want to see Trout do it in this game. That's not part of the handicap, but obviously,
Right.
a home run equates into runs. He's obviously swinging a hot bat right now. No doubt about that. I think both teams performing pretty decently in the pitching department, but these pitchers aren't necessarily the most durable or big names here, but they're doing pretty well of late. But the Angel bullpen's been a little bit sloppy with a 4.62 ERA over the last 3 starts, and Suarez has gone over in 3 of his last 4 starts. So, strangely enough, I've got 2 overs so far on my my picks out of
Like
3.
Bizarro World.
Right. Hey, we got some comments. Sebastian's joining us, and thank you, and welcome to the morning steam as we continue on with the rapid fire rundown. We got Houston with Brown. That's their Browns. What is it? The Cleveland Browns? No. He's their top pitching prospect, Brown, coming in this one. He's a 215 favorite against Hutchison and that weak hitting lineup of the Tigers. Mindy, right now, Houston 215. This one could be climbing higher right now. So if you like the favorite, you might want to try it. And that total definitely at 8. Maybe it's shaded to the over at minus 120, maybe pulling back just a little bit. Looks like the early action may be coming in on the under.
Yeah, it's one of these that it's one I want to play the run line, but it's just as of late, they've been having a hard time coming in these minus 1.5 games. The good thing here is you do have Houston as the away team, so they do get that last at bat. I'll probably go Houston here on the run line, minus 1.5. Also.
Yeah, well, we talked about Brown in his debut, and he went up against
Yeah, I like
Texas.
them.
Yeah, 6 innings pitched, no runs in that debut for him, and for Hutchison. I think he can match a little bit here with Brown, but we know the Tigers have that pitiful offense right
Yeah.
now. So I think under is going to be the play for me. The series has had is 0-7-1 to the under in the last 8 games between these two teams. That's no overs in the last 8 games, and Detroit has gone over in just 3 of its last 16 games at home. So I think another outing from Brown here. Who knows? I mean, if he's their top prospect, he comes in pitching like this. Let's see him up against some good opposition. But, Houston, if anything, as well as those starters do, they've been looking for one more guy. Now, they're not going to need, a ton of our starting arms in the postseason, but a guy like Brown could find himself on the staff if he's their top prospect and comes in throwing shutout innings here towards the end of the season. I like the under in this one with Houston and Detroit. All right, speaking of good pitching, here's Sandy Alcantara still trying, I think, for his Cy Young Award bid. He's going to be hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Pretty good ball game, actually, when you think about what Sandy brings to the table each day. Right now, Alcantara minus $1.30, and the total 7 under 20.
I know. I always want to pronounce it phonetically as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked about how good he is chasing that CY Young, but Marlins are just terrible on offense. I've just had a really hard time backing them. I know they've pulled out a couple of games here, usually winning one out of a series. But Falter here, I think he's been pitching well. He's on a 4-game win streak, and I'm always like, wow, if I can take Phillies with plus money, I'm excited about it. I like those Phillies today.
I do too. I kind of want to go with this, so we give out a part of our parlay, but I want to also give multiple picks, and I do like the over in this game. Philadelphia 13-5 to the over in their last 18 games. Miami is over right now in 5 straight games, so I do think there is a little bit of fatigue coming on with Sandy. He's a 4.5 ERA in his last 3 starts. Falter has been good, but he has a 4 ERA overall. Both these pitchers do trend under this year for the whole season, but in this one, I'm going to go over that tight number of 7. I'll go over. Mindy gives you the Phillies, and I'll give you the over. Okay, let me see now if I have an update on game 2, because I may have the pitchers listed. We're just going to take a look at Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I'm expecting Ortiz here, I believe, for Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati will end up probably being undecided. Although I did see, let's bring it up, the graphic, because there's no line at this point. But, in watching for Tony last night on his video, I know that he had, I want to say it was, trying to think of who he had listed. Mindy, what do you got? Do you have anything? We talked
I
about the
don't
first
have
game.
anything on this
Okay.
one. This would be a big giant fat pass on for me today.
Sure, no problem there. I mean, if anything, if we're going to get involved, it would be probably after watching game one, anyways, and then maybe making the play. Just want to see if I could uh, bring up what Tony had on the starter on this. He had the first game right. So, and again, like I said, we're definitely looking at two bullpen games here with the two teams. But I think he either had the primary starter listed or uh, the expected starter, which was going to be Espinal, Raynel Espinal, possibly making his 2022 debut. Uh, he did work 2 innings with Boston previously in his career. He has 83 and a third innings in AAA this year with a 5.29 ERA and a 1.5 WHIP with 102 strikeouts and 38 walks. So it could be Espinal for the Reds. Whether or not he's even a guy who can give them several innings, not so sure in that one. And I have nothing. I'm probably talking about this game way too much considering the circumstances. Okay. All right, get back to some decent action here. At least a rivalry game. One good team, one bad team. Baltimore and Kramer going to be favored in this one. $1.50 or so, and the total 8.5 against the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of these the new guys here, but Kremer, he kind of struggled. He was lost 4-1 to Toronto. The Orioles are on a 2-game losing streak, but of course Washington has one of the worst pitching staffs in the league. Same thing here. Abbott last outing lost 4-1 to St. Louis. They're also, I mean, I know they're decent offensively, but still been struggling. Orioles actually play really, really well on the road here. I'm going to take Baltimore on the run line here in this one against Washington today.
All right, fair enough. And I'll go under in this one with Kramer and Abbott. Baltimore has gone under in 8 straight games on the road. And also, I agree with. I mean, Kramer. Look, 1.89 ERA. He's won all 3 of his last starts. All 3 have gone under. So overall, I think the Orioles have won all of his starts, right?
Right.
And under. Let's see, Baltimore under in 19 of their last 27. So in addition to that road streak, I mean that does even it out a little bit, but obviously they are on the road here. So I'm going to add the under there. So we'll go Baltimore and under between us. All right, a little bit of an unknown here, I think, in game 2 with Tampa Bay and Toronto. See if they had listed anything yet as far as the odds are concerned. And I don't think that there's going to be anything out on this one, considering the circumstances that it is a doubleheader game 2. No, I'm not seeing anything on any of the major books yet.
Yeah.
In this one, I didn't know if you had any
I
information
didn't have anything else on it.
to share on this game. Okay, no
No.
problem there. We'll tell you, though, however, that Herget, this will be, if indeed he is the starter, this will be his major league debut. He worked 19 innings in AAA. He had a 2.55 ERA with a 1.16 WHIP, 92 strikeouts, and 14 walks. Micah White, meanwhile, we know that he's been, pretty experienced this year. 21 appearances, a 5 ERA, and a WHIP of 1.43. So looks like it'll be bullpen work again for Tampa Bay, the masters of the bullpen game, right? And White is actually coming back up, I believe, from the minors to make this start for Toronto. So things get a little bit thin, if they can add one player in these double headers, and that helps in a situation like this. Still a key game, make no mistake.
Right.
Here's the thing, Mindy, even though we don't really have anything or a pick on this game, I think at this point, Unlike the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game, I am more likely, if I were going to end up, betting a second game of a doubleheader, it would be in a game like this rather than Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, because I'll be watching
Yeah.
this doubleheader closely today as probably the featured attraction on the Major League schedule. Always an attraction is going to be Jake DeGrom when he takes the mound, but you're going to have to lay $4
Jeez.
with Jake. So reach deep into your pockets and find some change in the couch if you want to get involved with this. My instinct is just find a way to get to the Cubs plus runs. I'm not sure, but it looks like Jake against this lineup might be dynamite.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things, kind of like how AI talked about there with Mets run line, Houston money line. That's kind of probably what you're looking like, just trying to get them maybe in some sort of money line parlay with these other, big favorites that you think, will outright win. I don't really have, too much on this otherwise either. I mean, it just should be a Mets annihilation, but I don't know. It just kind of seems like they've been sometimes having a little bit of trouble, like letting that one go last night.
Right. I mean,
you
that's
know,
what I was going to add. To me, and
I
even
don't know if it's worth it to play these big money lines anymore this year, kind of thing. Go ahead.
Well, Jake has been, if anybody's been, hot right now, with his last three starts at 0.45 ERA, he's really, on fire right now. But the Mets look like the least trustworthy teams laying these big numbers as we move down the stretch. They look the least trustworthy. So I'm going to take the Cubs plus 2.5 at minus $1.10 in this one. I'm going to take 2.5 runs at minus $1.10. I think that's the fair price. I think that's what you'll find out there, taking the alternative run line, and I'll take the Cubs to somehow find a way to stay in this game with Sampson. He's looking to do something. Not much you could recommend. The Cubs are pretty weak, but they have played some unders of late. And look at that total, 7 under 20. I've also seen some 6.5 over 25. So we're just expecting Jacob DeGrom to really deal today, and probably a low scoring game. So
Right.
if I could keep it in, if I get 4-2 or something, that'll be just fine.
Gotcha.
All right. Garrett Cole is a minus 160 favorite with the total 8.5 under 15 here against Pavetta. The Yankees and the Red Sox, not quite the intrigue as usual down the stretch this season, but maybe Boston with a little something to shoot for here because they're playing the Yankees. Boston's still under 500, not going to be doing anything, but they can fight for this one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Boston just looked like they had a lot of quit in them this year. Like, not a whole lot of motivation to win games. Not a whole lot of heart out there, when they're playing, especially against teams that they should beat. Those under 500 teams lost a lot of those this year. It's just a 2-game series here, 2-game short series. I don't know what happened to the Red Sox. Their bullpen's not very good this year either. Yankees here, they really need this series. They have the Blue Jays and the Rays, in contention, breathing down their necks here. I really like Cole. Pavetta, I think, has been a lot off. I like the Yankees here in this one.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that Cole is good to go today, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Everything that I saw.
Okay, yeah, there's just a tad bit of info, that maybe, but yeah, he's all listed all over the place on all the books as the starter for sure. About $1.65 now, maybe even $1.70. So maybe the public will end up coming in on New York. I'll end up taking the under in this game. 8.5 with Garrett Cole pitching. That seems pretty good to me right now. The Yankees have gone over in just 3 of their last 15 road games. Meanwhile, Boston has gone under in 6 of their last 8 games. So I think for me, especially considering the Yankees, I mentioned that road streak, but also they've gone over in just 9 of their last 31 games. We know that they came back to life a little bit here, but I'll go under in that one. You said Cole, right?
I did. I like Cole.
Yeah. Okay, just want to mark that down and take a look at this one now with Kansas City and Minnesota. Bubich and Ryan. Ryan, a pretty big favorite here, currently at a buck 80, buck 90, maybe going up. Total, I list there at 8 over 25. I'm also seeing some 8.5 unders, so might be a little two-way street there. You have anything with Kansas City and Minnesota?
So do you know how many games Minnesota has won in the month of September?
Well, let's see, 13 days. There have been 13 days so far, so I'll probably go somewhere 3.
It's two
Okay.
games in September. Especially when it's been a team here that's been in contention. They're trying to stay, with the White Sox, and then of course, the White Sox are putting up 66 runs here so far in September. When the Twins have put up 28. I mean, it's pretty sad state of affairs for the Twins and their bats, but they're still sitting third place in the AL Central. But yet, Bubich here for for the Royals is equally bad.
Yeah.
And they also just lost 2 of 3 to the Tigers here. But I mean, this is just crazy. With I don't even know how this one's going to play out here.
The Royals bullpen's been solid. Minnesota's is not. I know that of late.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't right now. I mean, you have a Twins team at minus 180 that's put up like hardly any runs and only won 2 games. I don't know how I can do it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Bubich, even though he's bad. I'm gonna take those Royals.
Money line, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a money line.
Yeah, and it's been a popular play among handicappers. I've noticed. I'll come in though. You sold me on it, even though the pitchers have been bad. The offenses have not been great. So I think I'll still go under, and maybe I prefer the juiced 8.5, if I may. I mean, I've
You're allowed.
right, in most of our shows, I always have taken the worst of the line and said, "Hey, let me challenge myself and give the player a little bit. If they get a better line, great. But I'm gonna sneak this one up, even if it's 8. Maybe if it's 8.5 under 30, even I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna need that half in a game like this because it definitely could be. A one-run game or so. So at 8.5, couldn't be a one-run game. At 5-4, still a loser. But at 4 to, at 5-3, certainly that gets it home. And no guarantees. Like I said, you guys are all on a big dog here. But again, very mediocre results for Minnesota, to say the least. So Mindy gives you KC, and I'm giving you the under. We got 2 plays right there. All right, looks like we have an opener here. My old buddy Matt Bush, he's back to open the game up for Milwaukee. He's going to go up against Montgomery. He's been very, very solid. Montgomery about a $2 favorite here. The total is dipping. Looks like this one's going down. I'm listing 8 there, but I'm already seeing as low as 7.5 under 15. I think a lot of people putting a lot of stock in their Montgomerys here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be how many runs that the Cardinals can score, because Cardinals are only allowing 0 or 1 run in their last 6 of 7 starts. So Milwaukee puts up 0 or 1. Is St. Louis going up against Milwaukee's bullpen, which hasn't been great. They're kind of inconsistent. I mean, are they going to put up an 8 spot to beat you? I don't know if they are. Arenado, he hasn't been doing great either. It's not like I see a lot of balls just flying out of the yard here. I definitely like the St. Louis here on the money line, but again, it's up to you if you want to play a minus 205 play, but the under 8 is looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, we do make fun of a lot of these big money favorites, but actually, when you start to get into September and can keep something like this down to a $2 favorite, look, Milwaukee's still got a decent team, but if you really like a team like this, especially it looks like a pitching mismatch a little bit, I don't think there's a problem there with laying $2 and just don't do it. Don't overdo it with that, but. I'm going to go under here just because of Montgomery. I think he's dealing right now, no doubt about it, with a 1.45 ERA. He has not lost a start yet with St. Louis. Maybe he's been a little weaker of late with a 3 ERA in his last 3 starts, but they've won all 3 of those games, of course, as well, because they haven't lost yet with Montgomery. And that also bodes well for only laying $2. He's got a 5-0 record, and the Cardinals are 7-0 now in his starts. I mean, that's pretty significant. And Milwaukee looks like they're going to be piecing it together. I saw Lindblom might be a name that's going to come in there as a primary. So I'm going to go under the 8 runs in Milwaukee. That's like 3 straight unders I've just given out. But that's okay. I'm the Undertaker. All right, let's take a look now at Oakland and Texas, and this is going to be Waldachuk going up against Ragans. A couple of pitchers getting experience here in September, and Ragans $1.50 or so, total 8.5.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers, they've won 10 of 17 games versus the A's. Oakland is bad in September, only 2-8. But the Rangers just haven't been scoring, a ton here either. I don't know. Reagan's he's already lost to the A's 7-2, but then he pitched really well against the Astros and he pitched 3 scoreless. So what are you going to get with him, right? And you can't really. I feel like I can't really trust anyone necessarily in this matchup, but I can trust that an A's bullpen, which is 0-4, 7.09 ERA, is going to be really bad. I'm going to go ahead and take Texas here -145.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle, I think, of late for the Oakland bullpen, and Texas bullpen actually has been quite
Right.
solid. I'm going to give you, Mindy and I are going to be in agreement here, I think, on this one. Let's do one, Mindy. Let's
All
put
right.
this one at least. I'll try to get us a parlay here. Only 4
Well,
games
I like
left.
that, the under in that Cardinals game. So I think we can, maybe have 2 that we, pretty
Okay.
much are
If you want to
solid
mark it
agreeing.
down, and again, I usually mark both a side and the total, and then just kind of roll with the flow and give you 2 picks. And if it's something a premium, that's why I have end up switching or whatever, or not doing the same as Mindy, because Mindy might be giving out one of my premiums, and I don't want
Right.
anybody to know that what I'm on. But
Super secret.
I think here, to me, it just looks like a discount. The game opened, I think, about $1.50 or so. I show a 145 on the screen, and I'm now showing even the most square of books down to 135. So again, Texas bullpen. You mentioned the Oakland bullpen with a 7 ERA in the last 10 games. Over that same period, Texas's ERA 2.76. So that's a huge discrepancy. And Texas is at home right now. In the series, and I don't know, Oakland. They're supposed to be a team that plays better on the road. Here's Colorado going up against the White Sox interleague action. Chad Kuhl going up against Michael Kopech. In this one, big favorite here for the White Sox. 185 total 8.5.
Yeah, I think that's because, the White Sox, they've won their last 4 out of 5. Also 4 out of 5 at home. They're scoring at least 9 runs in the last 3 of 5 games. Again, talking about them being really hot this September, putting up 66 runs, the most in the majors. And the Rockies then, on the other hand, they struggle on the road. They've lost their last, 4 out of 5. Cool, just not pitching well. Gave up 15 runs in his last 3 road starts. I think the -185. I'm not going to take those odds. I'm going to take the White Sox. I'm going to count on them still putting up some more runs here. I'm going to take them on the run line.
Okay, I don't think I can trust them to cover a run line, but against Colorado, maybe that will be the case. But man, these guys they keep throwing these starters out there. Kopech is not the guy we thought he was. Now both teams are kind of trending under, but Kopech a 10 ERA over his last 3 starts, and Kuhl a 7 ERA over his last 3 starts. That doesn't sound like a good situation at all. Colorado's bullpen also been blowing up of late. I'm going to go over in this one with Colorado and the White Sox. So we got a run line White Sox. We got an over in that game. continuing on here. We got to get through. We got some comments, though. We always like to show it. How about White Sox team total, Mindy? Is that something that could interest you?
Let me see what I got. I like, again, I always put some leans out there for all of my games. Let's see if I
Well, I
go.
can tell you that the let's see. I think I have the actual team total. Is it out yet?
So I had it at 8.5. I have this game, White Sox 6, Rockies 4. So I have an over in this game.
For the White Sox run line, you'd think they will produce
Oh,
an over 4.5.
I thought he said team total. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
4.5.
total. I'm sorry, I misread.
4.5 for the White Sox, maybe shaded slightly to the under.
Yeah.
In
Well,
that
see,
one.
for me, I had that as White Sox with 6.
Oh,
So.
market day. I think that's a go, Neil. All right.
I read it wrong initially. Sorry. It's early.
Yeah, he had it kind of abbreviated. No big deal. I think that's what I said. Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil. Okay, let's move on. We still got a football card to go, but we'll get through these 3 more late games out west. The Dodgers and Kershaw going up against Arizona. And Kelly, here he is today, finally, after I tried to start him yesterday.
I know, but you can start almost every day. Hey, why not?
Kershaw, $2 favorite here, and the total is, it looks like 7.5 under 25. I'm showing it moving up now, 8 under 20. Wow, that one, so that's way off right there. That's almost a full run different. Oh, no, thank you. Put the right game up there. There it is. That looks right. 8.5 under 25. That's right on. Dodgers 200 or so. What do you got, Mindy?
Well, I believe the Dodgers have already took 4 on the road from the Diamondbacks. So, I mean, I'm going to, I feel like this, I am a broken record with, how can I not back the Dodgers? They're one of the teams, handicapping wise, that have made you the most money this year. I'm just going to take them on the run line here. I'm going to back Kershaw. I'm going to expect a lot of runs. I'm going to take Dodgers run line.
Okay. Well, I can give you 2 reasons why I wouldn't take the Dodgers. Number 1, they are from LA, and number 2, they wear blue. That should be enough. But again, they'll probably smash here. I'm going to go under, though. I want a solid start from Kershaw, who's still, I think he's back as far as coming off the injury now, considering he has a 2.4 ERA in those last 3 starts. Doesn't have a win to show for it yet. Kelly's been, obviously decent, having a very strong year, gives them a chance, I think, in this one. I know you guys like the run line here, but I'll go under, especially at that juiced 8. I'll go under in Dodgers and Arizona. Now we can get that Padre game up there where I had the wrong game up. With you, Darvish, going up against Logan Gilbert in this one. Gilbert opened much higher here, as high as $1.35. Now he's just the slightest of favorites here, but the Mariners just a slight favorite. It's almost a pick 'em, but the Mariners are the slight favorite. And the total 7.5 under 25. I'm already showing now 7 over 20. This one's a fast dipper.
Well, let me go ahead and check something here on the site real quick, because I forgot to do that. I'm going to look at a first 5 here on this one, but I just kind of want to see where it sits.
Okay, I can call it out as well.
All right, so here, I got it pulled up here, Ramon. So, yeah, I mean, I for me, this is my favorite game on the card here tonight. Mariners lead the series 2-0. Padres have been really dangerous on the road this year. They're 7-3 in their last 10 road games. Mariners only 4-4 at home. I really like where Yu Darvish is. He's only had 9 runs, over 28.1 innings pitched. Gilbert, he's also been good. He's been winning, but yet he's not been winning this, this first 5 bet. And that's what I'm going to look at. The Mariners, just for whatever reason, have zero run support here for Gilbert, scoring 3 or fewer runs in most of his starts. I'm going to take Yu Darvish here. I'm going to take him on the first 5, and I'm going to take him on the money line at minus 115 here in this one. I've tried to back Gilbert this year on first 5, and he has failed more than he has won this year, definitely.
No, Gilbert's been hot, with the
I get it. I
ERA.
mean, he's pitching well, but for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it's one of those he doesn't get that run support like these other guys get. So I'm going to back your Padres here.
The Padres are going to have to perform too, and it does worry me that this total has gone down so much. I mean, like I said, it's 7.5 under there, but some of the square books are already at 7 over 20, and I want to go under in this one. I like what you said. I'm not going to necessarily go against you. I think that is a discount on Seattle, today, because I think they did open a little bit higher, but I think people see what you do right now in Yu Darvish as well, and a Padre team. Look, both teams. This is 2 playoff teams right here, no doubt about it. But I will go under in the game, even if you want to challenge the 7 over 20. That's fine. Might end up being a push here. This one could easily be 4-3, 4-2 right in there. I'm thinking anytime you get these guys with a pitching matchup in Seattle. So I will go under for the 10th straight game. Well, that's not true. We went over in Colorado. Okay, one more here on the baseball card. We got to get to football. Now Wright's pitching. I think I finally got this one right. And he's a pretty big favorite here against Jacob Junis. $1.60, total 7.5 under 20.
Yeah, I mean, Junis just hasn't been great. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. He has that 4 ERA. Braves have led the series here in this one. They won 3 out of the last 4 at home. Giants are having just trouble putting runs together. I'm going to just back Atlanta in this one.
Okay, take Atlanta as that road favorite, so I'll come in on the total, and I'm going to go under with what you said. Of course, I'm going to go under every time, pretty much, but basically basing off some of what you said. Don't forget San Francisco; that they are just a 2 over results in their last 11 following a win. I know that Wright and Junis both have struggled. They have decent numbers so far this season, but Atlanta's bullpen's been pretty strong of late, just 2.5 ERA over the last 10 games or so. So I like what I see right there in that one. And Giants, it's 6 straight to the under now for the Giants with those bats. So give me the under here at 7.5. All right. We're going to move quickly. Thank you for your comments. We do want to hear more comments from you, no doubt about it. I'm a little bit concerned there. We do see that we have viewers with us. We're happy that you've joining us live, or if you're watching on the replay. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about how we're going to approach football this week. We're going to give the 2 Thursday games. We're also going to give the first set of games for Saturday between 12 Eastern and I believe, what's that Nebraska game go off at your time? 1:30, Mindy?
No, that's 11 o'clock my time.
Okay, so that's the block right there. I believe it's 7 Saturday games. So let's get right into the Thursday right away. I'll probably just give more picks than analysis on these games, but maybe we can expand on it a little bit. So let's start with the game between the Florida State Seminoles. They're going to travel and take on the Louisville Cardinals. Florida State 2-0 so far. They opened about a 1.5 point favorite. Now they're 2.5. Total pretty steady. Maybe open 55, maybe open 54.5, but it's 54.5 right now and really hasn't moved.
I mean, this is going to be a fun one. I mean, both of these teams are super talented. Both have a great staff. Both, really looking to start the season off right. Maybe both are a little bit surprising. You know what I mean? So I think this to me looks like basically just a giant pick'em game. Like I think it's just going to be a coin flip. I'm going to basically just kind of more look at, I think that neither of these teams play particularly fast. Cunningham was pretty methodical. He looked really good. I really like him. I don't know if Florida State's going to be able to contain him as much as we think. Florida State maybe can do this. I'm looking more like this is just going to be an under game here in this one.
And Mindy, you put that first Louisville game kind of behind them because they came back and got that
100%.
cover as an underdog against the Golden Knights.
100%. I just think, just played pretty shaky there. And then, I mean, like just being able, to, you know, to stop that Florida team. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I was really surprised that they were able to stop, a running quarterback the way that they did.
Yeah, and I'm not putting you on the spot to say, do you like Louisville? Obviously, you said it's a kind of a pick 'em game. You like the under, and I'm not trying to make it a lean toward Louisville or anything. I just want to clarify because you did make a point of that, especially that they threw in that opening clunker. But like I said, bouncing back in a big way. And
I'm having a hard time picking a winner, a straight up winner at this game. That's tough. I mean, I think it is literally, a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong backing either of these teams. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I don't think anyone necessarily has an edge. I mean, where can you find the edge? I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of talent, good coaching staffs, good quarterbacks. The only thing I can come down to is time of this game, time of possession. So to me, that's why I'm going that route on the under.
Okay, well, I'm going to come in with the side, and I will take free shoes. Lane in lane 2, I'll do it lane 2.5. I agree with you. I think it's a tight game, and I'm glad this is under a field goal, and that's the way I'll look at it. But again, I think we're in for a good one. I think maybe, it's interesting. Florida State have had some rough goes of it of late, and trying to find a solution, trying to get back to be the Florida State that everybody's used to. And I'm going to try them on the road here this week. And hey, thank you to Richard Lynn for joining us. Florida State loves the under. Are you giving I think, I don't know, Florida State, does that mean they like to go under a lot? Maybe that's what he's saying. Or maybe he's saying Florida State and the under. Maybe Richard can tell us. But, well, I like Florida State. Mindy likes the under. So if anything, we're kind of agreeing with you, I think. All right, in the other game, co-feature, but, not as great as that first game, certainly, and these games will kind of overlap. This one's on CBS Sports Network, and Air Force, a big favorite here, 17 points against, pretty crummy Wyoming club, but still, laying over 2 touchdowns here, and the total 48.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one is going to be, kind of similar. Wyoming is that methodical run, get yourself down the field and score. Not a whole lot of, quick strikes. And then I think you're against the total opposite with Air Force. Just going down there, they beat up, a Colorado team pretty easier than I expected. So I'm going to take that quick strike offense with Air Force. I don't feel too bad giving up a big line like a 17. Air Force had 435 yards of offense, 25 first downs, really moving the ball well right now.
Yeah, and it snuck over for most. I mean, it was very, very close, but I think most of the money got there on the over. But it was only by a half a point, I think, in most circumstances there in that last game. But I agree with you. I think Air Force will not have any trouble scoring, and I think Wyoming can also get some here in the game. So I think it could go over in this one. I mean, I was looking, my number was considerably higher. The total's gone down. So I don't know. I was kind of leaning premium in this one, but you went with Air Force. So I'm going to give out the over, and I like it a lot, folks. I like the over in this game with Air Force and Wyoming. I'm thinking, Mindy, actually about 57 points, I think, in this one, which for me would qualify 9 points. You want to know how? Hey, don't forget to go to our website, Tony'sPicks.com. Absolutely our best picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. But I'm telling you right now, if I didn't just give out that game, I was probably going to go over here. But there's a lot of games, so, I don't mind. And it's a Thursday special. Maybe I can get on the side as well. But we have the NFL game and everything, so I do like the over really in this one with Air Force and Wyoming Mini. Tell you right now. Okay, let's start with Saturday. These are going to be games starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I think we're going to run down about 7 of them here to get the week started. Tony is also already previewed about 20 games on the Tony'sPicks.com YouTube channel, so you can get started on your college football handicapping right now. Mindy said, "Hey, let's go a little further on the schedule." I was like, I don't know. We want to have a good showing, and I'm so glad that she did because I like some of these games right here that we're about to talk about. How about Cincinnati? This one's kind of on the move, it looks like. Now Cincinnati's up to a 22-point favorite off an opener of 20.5. Not seeing too much movement on the total. I think it opened around 50. Maybe it opened 50.5, but it has gone maybe up a point, even though I listed 50 there on the screen. I'm 51 on the screen. The odds screen still has, I believe, some 50s out there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with how these two teams played. Last week Cincinnati had that tough one versus Houston. Cincinnati beat Kennesaw State, Georgia by 53. Miami, Ohio played Robert Morris, had a big victory, 63-10. Bryant, he has been tossing about 325 yards per game. Cincinnati putting up 525 yards of total offense. I think the only thing that needs to happen, Cincinnati, needs to keep their penalties in check. They've been a little sloppy here. Beginning Miami, Ohio, averaging 408 yards of total offense. It's one of those things like, I don't know if with Cincinnati, if I want to, do something with a minus 22, it seems a little steep for my blood here. I'm gonna probably take a look at getting over that 51, even though it seems like that number's been going down a little bit.
Yeah, in fact, I'm saying 49.5 at Circa. I talked about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it looks like a lot of folks are on the under. I'm in opposite position here at this one. I'm gonna look at the over.
Let's see if we can get a parlay started, Mindy. I'm going to go with you and go over last year's game, 63 points. Cincinnati did get that money, laying 23.5. Now, I know that was at home, but we are talking about Miami of Ohio here. So Cincinnati also covered the last meeting at Miami back in 2019, laying 17 points. They won it by 22. So Cincinnati's gotten the money in the series 4 straight, although the last 2 are more representative of Cincinnati dominance with double-digit spreads because Miami of Ohio, we did have a pretty good club back in a few years ago that could compete actually with Cincinnati a little bit because Cincinnati was not the near elite team that we see them over the last couple of years here. So I'm going to agree with you, Mindy. I think we can get into the mid 50s here with Cincinnati and Miami of Ohio. Let's try to get a parlay out of this show if we can. Okay, well, we got another laugher here, but we saw what happened last week when Michigan played another one of the worst teams. A good scheduling here, Big Blue. They hit cupcakes, the biggest of cupcakes over the last 2 weeks, and here they're another huge favorite. If anything, the money's come in a little bit on Connecticut. Maybe because what we saw against Hawaii, that Michigan couldn't get the money there or didn't want to get the money there. I don't know how you might describe it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly because I thought for sure that would be easy cover with that. Thought it was going to be
I know
over, and I think they missed by like a half a point.
I think I said 70-0.
Yeah, so I still think this one's got to be a Michigan. I still think they're gonna cover UConn. I don't think there's much really to talk about on this one. Should be another blowout.
Okay, you think they can roll in this one, huh?
I do.
Yeah. Okay, well, I might have a premium in this game, so I'm going to take Pasadena. I'll take my first Pasadena of the day here, and we'll give out Mindy's play on Connecticut. On Michigan laying the big points there. Don't want to tip my hand. I don't know. Maybe it's a total. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, who wants to take 50 points in a football game or whatever? Maybe I'm going to wait and see if that line moves a little bit.
I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way I'm betting it. Just
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah, all it is just a sweat at the
there's
end.
better games out there
Garbage,
for us to handicap.
garbage BS, but
Right.
got to bet on everything. Okay, a good game here to talk about competitive pick'em type games. How about Purdue? They are a pick'em. Maybe they're a 1 point favorite now. Total open about 56.5, and now up to 58.5 in this one. But yeah, another a good one here.
Yeah, Purdue, they're 4-2 as 1 point favorites last year. Syracuse, they're 6-4 last year as 1 point underdogs. So I find it to be, pretty interesting that each of these teams have good records at a pick 'em, right? Last year, I mean, Syracuse had 5 out of 12 games go over the total. Um, Syracuse again played UConn and had that score of 48-14. They're in that one. I don't know. I think this one's also a little bit tough, but I think I'm going to take a shot at Purdue in this one. I think they play at a little bit faster pace, maybe a little bit more athletic. Again, not my favorite play, but take a shot. I'm going to go with that Big Ten team there.
Well, would you be willing to, if I went with Purdue, to make it our second team of the parlay? Because I like
Sure, we could do
Purdue.
that.
I
Sure,
like
we can do
Purdue,
that.
and yeah, I like Purdue. So maybe that'll put us over the top on this game. I mean, it's definitely moving over. I think Purdue can score here. Yeah, you mentioned Syracuse, 2-0 so far. We'd already talked about the 24-point win over Louisville, and of course, destroying Connecticut. You're talking about with Michigan and Connecticut in the previous game, so you could kind of take that for what it's worth. Last week, Mindy mentioned it as a 23.5-point favorite. They won by 34 points in a sure over there. So I think they could give it up here to Purdue on the road. I'll take Purdue. We've got Purdue as part of our parlay, the morning parlay at the morning steam. All right, Texas State is going to take on Baylor in an early start. And Baylor now currently laying 30. I believe they opened a little bit higher, maybe as high as 32 or so. Total right now sits 52.5 after an opener of 51.5. So
OMG, Texas State is bad. They're worse than Albany. Baylor beat up on Albany pretty good. I mean, Texas State is just bad. What are you going to say? Take Baylor. They're bad. I like Baylor at the -33, -35. I would take Baylor.
Okay. Well, we saw Texas State. They did have obviously a surprising performance, but we know FIU right now pretty bad. Pretty bad. It looks
Yep.
like maybe one of those bottom feeders. We saw Texas State get rocked by a Nevada team that might be just mediocre as well. So again, Baylor. I don't know. You watched that BYU game closely. I know there was
I
some
did.
goofy things happening near the end of the game.
Well, Baylor's
So
going to have to open it up a little bit. They're not going to be able to, only pass the ball every, 9 plays. That's something else too. I think they're going to open this game up a little bit more than what they did before.
that's where I agree right there, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the over, believe it or not, 2.5, Texas State and Baylor. So we're giving you right there Baylor and the over, a double play here on the free picks rapid fire rundown for Saturday. Got just 3 more games and a few more games to talk about on our 90-minute show. All right, and then we'll start. It's Western Kentucky going up against the Hoosiers. Mindy in this one. For Indiana, they definitely opened up maybe a 6.5-point favorite. They might be up to 7 at some places right now. Maybe the public's coming in on Indiana. I'm not sure about that one, but a total 59.5 now up to 60.5. Anything?
Yeah, I don't really understand the spread here on this one. I mean, I think Indiana might be better because maybe they got to win versus Illinois. But I mean, Indiana has a notoriously bad coaching staff also. I mean, I
Not a
just
fan of Tom Allen here. He brought in a
no.
lot of players. I mean, he's brought in players. There's no doubt about it.
I just don't understand why. I mean, I would almost see Western Kentucky here as the favorite in this one. I think Western Kentucky's just going to crush them. I mean, I'm all over this +7. I can get that. I mean, I'm going to take Western Kentucky all day. Maybe Indiana pulls out something, but it's not going to be something more than 1 to 3 points, something like that. I really like Western Kentucky here.
I think the thing that's impressive to me, we think, I talked about it. We've cashed with Western Kentucky. They were one, they had Zappy, but they're totally different. It looks like they're like a run pass team here. They've got balance right now. Now Reeds look pretty good at quarterback, but they also are running the ball very well. So look, Indiana's got some problems. It looks like maybe in that secondary. I'm not sure, but I think Western Kentucky can put some points up. I think Indiana can get theirs too, because
You have a
I'm not
little bit more faith
right.
than I do.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it's so much that, but I think Western Kentucky. I kind of like them in the game, but I think I like the over more, and I'm going to go over 60.5. So
Gotcha.
Mindy and I giving you a little double action there with Western Kentucky in the over. Hey, let's get in. We need some early SEC action with Georgia and South Carolina. Now Georgia, pretty big favorite here at 24.5. It opened definitely lower, maybe as low as 21.5, and the total has also gone up considerably, open 49.5, now 52, maybe even 52.5. So looks like the public already, or the sharps, whoever's coming in early, thinking Georgia to crush.
I think so too. I mean, South Carolina lost to Arkansas, maybe as they should. South Carolina, they did put up with some offense with Rattler, but he was only 3 of 10 on third downs. And you just have to, you're not going to get close to a Georgia team, especially the way they play so fast on defense. If you're, only going 3 for 10 against, some of the lesser teams. So I do expect Georgia to crush South Carolina in this game.
Yeah, I might agree with you there. I'm gonna take the over. I mean, I think that with the move to the over, I think that I know I'm paying a price, and this is a pre-play, certainly. So I mean, I'm already paying kind of a 3 point tax. I know, Georgia, they have not even given up a touchdown yet, right? So,
Right.
incredible defense, but they could get enough, maybe a comfortable lead. They're still in the SEC. I think South Carolina may be able to get something on the board in this one. I will go over the 52.5. I definitely think it's something that could reach into the 56 range here. So Mindy gives you Georgia, and I give you the over. We've got to touch on this next one, our last game of the
We
rundown, and the opinions are widely varying now, Mindy, on this one. A top bookmaker in Las Vegas said he made this game 7.5. There definitely were some openers as high as 17. It may be settled at about 13, but now it's dipped all the way to 11. There's no doubt the Sharps are on Nebraska here. Maybe it's because it would have to be right on the feel goods, or the
has to be.
positive impact that the coaching change can make. Everyone says that this is still a talented club, so let's get it
But they
straight
didn't change
straight from
the
Omaha.
defensive coach, right? When they made that change, Nebraska's giving up. Oh, where is the stat? 613 yards of total offense to Georgia. Oh man, I don't know. I don't see that changing at all. I mean, I just think that you're just going to be able to run, run, run. I know, like, what you want to say, Oklahoma played, close with Kent State. Well, that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't see where Nebraska has a chance in this game. I'm a pretty big Nebraska fan, but I thought if anything, they were going to be able to, show some gusto on the defensive side, and the offensive side last game was totally wrong on that. So I don't see Nebraska putting up any sort of points here on Oklahoma either. Like I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough to get over that 65. And I don't really see Nebraska winning this one either.
That's where I want to. Well, I want to. I want to go.
So you can
You're
be
taking
against me
OU.
totally. It's okay. I just
No, you're taking OU. I get right at
yeah.
11. At 11.
Yes. I would take them by 2 scores easy.
Okay. Well, I kind of want to go over, but now I'm worried about what you're saying. I mean, I don't know.
Don't let me worry you.
I
I mean,
thought
I think Nebraska
Oklahoma would
will
roll
work.
a huge number, and then Nebraska gets some because I think it might be a big number. I have still concerns with Nebraska moving forward. So okay, I will then. I'll take since you are on Oklahoma, I will take the over. I'm worried about it, and that's why it's a free play. I mean, it's kind of right in the range where I thought, anyways. Nebraska going to need some help with Nebraska here in this one, but I am going to go over the 65 with OU and
So
Nebraska.
what do you think Oklahoma will score in this one?
Well, I'm going to need him to roll something in the 40s
Yeah.
for sure, and then I'm going to need some
A little help.
something on the back end from Nebraska. I mean,
Yeah.
is the fan base fired up for a
Of
game
course.
like this? I mean,
Of
it's
course. Yeah.
Oklahoma coming in.
Oklahoma is the biggest rival that Nebraska has, and that hasn't gone away from, when that flipped to, Iowa in the Big Ten. I mean, Oklahoma is still, been it. So yeah, it's going to be a good atmosphere. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot talked about. I think Nebraska will go out and give a good effort here, but it's Nebraska's still going to be, I think, plagued with penalties and turnovers. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm excited. Like I said, Ndamukong Suh, he said he wants to be Nebraska's next head coach. I said, why don't you put him on, as a defensive line coach? That might work.
Well, I'm old enough that this is the Big 8 rivalry. So
Right. Yep.
that's how old I am. So this one goes way back, and I know the fans love.
This was the only game we used to get on TV all year. So.
All right. Great job on that one, Mindy. And I did look at some other action. Let's see. I thought I had a graphic for the WNBA, but maybe I don't. I'll just have to narrate it. Let me talk about it, though, today, because we're going to have game 2 of the series with Connecticut and Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a 4.5-point favorite. Total 163.5. We saw, what happened in the first game with Las Vegas winning it, but they didn't get the money. I came in here with an underplay, and boy, that was a solid.
That was
play.
easy money, Ramon. Easy money.
Yeah, easy money, and that's where I'm going to go again, Mindy. I think we're looking at another game. Maybe it gets to the 150s, and that's that might be on the high end. I think the teams are obviously focused defensively. That's where this is the championship series. So, if anything, we've seen in some of the bigger WNBA games throughout these playoffs as the stakes have risen. Yeah, we saw that crazy game one
that went into overtime.
110 to 91. I don't remember what it was. Something like that. But for me, I think under is the look here at 163.5. Look, I do have it in the high 150s, so it could be closer. That game wasn't necessarily calling for it to be in the 140s or whatever it ended up being, but I did like it better in that game than I do in this game, but I still like the under. And I don't want to necessarily. I lean to Vegas. Money line, maybe I'll give out a money line if that's okay. But
Sure.
I think the number's right on. I mean, again, look what happened last game. Connecticut played well. We have seen sometimes. I don't know now as the stakes are very very high, but sometimes on these games, the second game has ended up being a blowout. When the first team with the road team on that second game, but I don't know. Connecticut looks pretty good, pretty focused to stay in this one and make it a great game with Las Vegas. So, will you be watching tonight?
Of course I will be. Yes. I
Okay.
enjoy the WNBA games.
And I'm also going to touch just real quickly. These are going to be Champions League soccer picks. Hopefully, you guys in the chat on some of these games. I got 4 plays in Champions League. Then we'll get out of here. I was going to see if I can call up the odds. 2 games are early starts. These will be at 12:30 Eastern and 9:30 Pacific as Champions League match day gets underway. So in the first game, this is going to be an under. I like Inter and Polsen to go under 2 and 3. Sorry, let me start over because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I like over in Inter and Polsen to go over 2 3/4 goals in the Inter Polsen game. I've got Sporting over Tottenham Hotspur. I got Sporting over Spurs. Sporting is a pretty big dog here at plus 235. I don't mind them also if you want to take them at plus 1/4 goal. I've got a draw in Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen. The draw is plus 215. I'm going draw in Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen. I've also got Barcelona plus 1/2 goal against Bayern Munich today in that one. There are 3 other games. Club Brugge going up against Porto. You got Ajax at Liverpool and Marseille. We got Eintracht Frankfurt at Marseille as well. I think I got the wrong home team there. It is Ajax at Liverpool. I think I had that one backwards. But 4 plays. I'm on the record in Champions League. I'm trying to get everything in, give more plays, whatever at least I can handicap. I did not get to Major League Soccer, 5-game card, 1 game in Mexican League. Those are the leagues that I usually handicap this time of the year. We leave the rest to Paul and his show at 11:15 Pacific, 2:15 Eastern every day. Make sure you watch Soccer Picks Daily with Paul Lagaretos and Tony, and then Mindy and I join you on at noon with Tony on free picks.
Game day picks.
Thank you. Sorry, Tony. Game day picks. We got our show now. Head on over to our website, Tony'sPicks.com. Use promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20% off all premium pick packages. Mindy, what is going on for you today?
Yeah, so I'm going to be all in on Major League Baseball and probably in that WNBA game. Just haven't looked it over as of yet. But yeah, I'm going to be putting up my packages here right after we get off of our show. Did not have enough time to do that with the extra football that we had to take a look at here today. So yeah, go ahead, check me out. Won my yesterday my best bet in Major League Baseball. So don't miss out on that one here again today.
If you want to support Mindy and I don't know. This is the way I'm going to start selling it because we want to sell our premium picks, absolutely our best picks. So why not team us up? You say, I like watching their show. Maybe grab a week with us for a couple $100. I know it's a lot to maybe ask, but you're going to have a really good time, and we're going to pick some winners, and we're going to come home winners. So join us. Use the 2-for-1 capper promotion. You get one handicapper at full price, the other one at half price. Probably Mindy at full price. Me, I'm your discount handicapper. But Mindy and I, quite frankly, if you look at that price, I think if you team the 2 of us up, with all due respect to our other cappers, you get more selections from the 2 of us than you would with any other combination of 2 handicappers on the site. I think it's okay and safe to say that. So maybe that will make you consider getting the 1-week package there for $229, and you'll have plenty of action every day. Believe me. Even though I just went 1 play yesterday, but it was a solid winner. If you see 1 play for me, we're going. That's the play we're playing. We're not too worried about it. So okay, Mindy. Sorry I kept us so long, but we wanted to talk about that football, and we'll catch you again tomorrow with more baseball, and we'll tackle more football as well. So for Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us on the Mornings Team.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.